Hello, good people of Ableton land. I'm back again with another handcrafted artisanal device to share with you all. This time it is an FM synthesizer called Plume. I'm not going to go too deep into the technicalities of how FM synthesis works, but it's essentially multiplying one signal by another, and I think it's very beautiful, while also having the potential to be very esoteric and grungy and even crazy at times. So this video is going to be broken into three parts. First, I'll just go over the various features of Plume, and then we will listen to Plume, some presets, some knob wiggling, and then in the third and final part, I'm going to build a little track with maybe 3 instances of Plume and a couple loops. So if you're just here to check out the sounds, there's chapters below. Feel free to skip ahead. But for now, Plume. Let's talk features. So we have a carrier wave. We have 4 options to choose from, although FM is generally done with just sine waves, but we've also added a square, a saw, and a triangle. Some of these other waveforms can get particularly crazy when modulated, which I will get to a bit later. And then we have the modulator wave here. This is what the carrier wave is multiplied by to create FM synthesis. Each of these waveforms has an envelope, so we can fade in the attack of the carrier. We can extend, the decay, sustain, release, but then we can also do the same with the modulation. So we can start with a sound that's dripping with modulation and slowly or very suddenly have that modulation vanish and leave us with a very pure tone. So below those 2 waveforms, the carrier and the modulator, we have the FM synthesis panel, kind of the guts of the FM synth. And so the mod gain is selecting the amount of modulation that's applied, and the chorus is selecting the ratio of that modulation. So the higher we go here, the more upper harmonics you're going to hear. Basically, it gets brighter. And then fine is just a little fine-tune control, make things a little detuned. To the left of that, we have a pitch LFO for all you vibrato freaks out there. You can get some warbles going there. Over here, we have a logo and a little waveform indicator, a little spectroscope. And then to the right of that, we have the logo and preset panel. It's divided into 4 quadrants of sounds just to kind of demonstrate some of the range that Plume offers. And then up here we have a spread knob. This just spreads the sounds out into the stereo field, or brings it back down to mono if you prefer. And then down below that, this is the magic panel. This is probably what sets this FM synth apart from the others. This is just a little place to play around and get weird. Each of these buttons is an effect model, if you will, designed by yours truly. Some are doing things like multiplying signals, others are doing division upon signals. There's a whole lot of math going on here, and this is a bit wacky, but I think it's nice to have a product that's a little different. This amount knob behaves differently depending on which model you've selected, so it's really just a matter of exploration, playing around with different settings, different amounts, and I think you can find some very interesting sounds within. So that is an overview of the features of Plume. Let's get into some presets. We will start with, I just have a little pre-recorded MIDI clip here, and we'll start with number 2, which is just a kind of a general FM key type sound. Another one I really like is the marimba. FM synthesis is great for bell sounds. This one is real long and slow. It has a 16-second attack. This one I'll actually come back to for a longer MIDI clip, which will really demonstrate. Let's see, we've also got... This is where we move into a saw wave and things get pretty wacky pretty quick. I think there's some interesting sounds to be had here for sure. Let's do some bass stuff. And a bass clip here. First we'll change to preset 10. And then let's get into some of the crazier stuff. to come back to that long slow patch number 3. I have a set of chords here where you can really kind of appreciate the long evolving nature of this patch and of FM synthesis in general. And as I was preparing this demo, this chord progression inspired me, so I was thinking that this is the one that I'm going to try to build out into something using a couple instances of Plume. So we'll start again with these chords. And then I've just brought in a simple kind of percussive clicky loop here. And a little tip here, not related to Plume, but in general, if you like the rhythm of something, but the transients are too long, you can go into the warp mode here, make sure it's on beats, transients, change this to one direction, and then you can just turn this right down to even clicks if you like. Just a little something for you. Next, I brought in another instance of Plume. I was playing around with an arpeggiator, but I decided to just do it by hand, so we'll get rid of that. And so the marimba is this one here, and I just took the chord progression and just kind of cut it up a bit, added some embellishments, and this is what we've got. Cool. I'm feeling very good about this. I think this has a nice kind of delicate vibe. Next up, I just found a drum loop that I liked, giving a little more rhythm to things. Throw it in here. Cool. I then added a couple vocal chops. Also, I took the rhythm from the drum part here, made just a side chain here to affect a couple different tracks. And I threw in another instance of Plume with a little bass fattening as well from Roar. And this is, just copying the root notes of the chords. I really like where this is going. So I think that'll bring us to the end of this video. I hope the demonstration has been useful and perhaps inspiring to you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the past customers who are returning to check out my new device. I truly appreciate being able to be at home with my tiny family, my sweet little baby, my lovely wife, making things for musicians, hearing those things out in the wild. It's very cool when someone sends me a track they made with one of my devices. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Happy music making.